Hey, what's up, everyone? It's the guys from B3 back at you with another episode of What You Sippin' On. We're here today with one of our great guests, Angela Rakis. But first, we want to make sure that you guys like, subscribe, follow us on social media. We are community builders. We do that through our B3 events, and of course, introduce you to some great professionals here in the Nashville area through our podcast, What You Sippin' On. So without further ado, I'm here with Dennis Tolpa from Studio Bank, William Stiles with Country Financial. I'm Eric Thornton with eXp Realty, and let's jump into it with Angela Rakis with Metis Sales Solutions. Sorry about that, Angela. And we're dying to know what you're sipping on.
Sipping on some Prosecco. I love the bubbles. So feels like a celebration when I pour a glass, and it makes you always stop and have a little bit of gratitude. So cheers to all of us being together and
Cheers
appreciating
to that,
this moment.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Always something to celebrate.
Yeah.
So why this specifically? Is there any reason you chose this particular type of wine?
The sparkling wine just always instigates a toast.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, it's just a nice, easy drinking Prosecco.
Yeah,
You can drink it on your own, or you can mix it.
very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you mix it with if you mix it? Like orange juice?
Orange juice for a
Uh-huh.
mimosa, or you could do like a little champagne cocktail or Marnier, little bitters. Yummy.
Oh wow!
Fancy glass.
That's
And
awesome.
you could be all special.
So, tell us about your business.
Yeah, Metis Sales Solutions. So started 3 years ago with them. And we do sales strategy and consulting for small, medium-sized businesses. And so what that really means is putting a sales strategy together, hiring a team, putting the process in place, doing sales training. And then after all of that work's complete, if they need me to, I'll stay on as their fractional VP of sales.
So you had been doing sales before this, correct? And so how do you get from selling for 25 years, you said? 25 years for big companies, IBM, I think you said. Name some other companies you worked with.
IBM, ACS, Xerox.
So big companies.
Yep.
How do you get from doing that to now you're consulting sales with these companies?
And so after that, I'd gone to a couple smaller mid-sized firms and really just implemented all the good process that I'd learned at Xerox and IBM, right? All of the regiment, all the tools, all of the cadence that you learn, and it's really drilled into you. But applying that to a smaller company that doesn't have a lot of process in place yet, and I saw the just incredible gains and success that we had from just simply implementing process, sitting down, writing the strategy, putting a playbook together, getting everybody using the tools, pulling in the rest of the organization, and watching the revenues just skyrocket. And I thought, this is really fun. I want to do this. So I did 2 of those and decided it was time to go out on my own.
That's awesome. So when you say you did that, so if you're in like a corporate structure, you went to a smaller mid-sized company, like did they put you in a position to have that opportunity to implement when you're on the sales? Or how does that transition work where you got that experience or that knowledge to jump like that?
Yeah, so came in as a VP of sales for a region or a territory. And the first time I did it, an employer of mine or one of my bosses at IBM brought me in to be his right hand, and we kind of worked together, put everything we knew in place, and it worked. It was just really, really fun. So then went to the next company, and they brought me in as VP of business development to do new business acquisitions. So how do we go out and just pull in all net new business? They were getting a lot of internal growth from existing customers. And so I just ran the playbook again, right? And it worked again. And I thought, wait a minute, there's something to this. So
this wasn't always part of your plan, right? You weren't working for 25 years saying, hey, I'm going to start my own business consulting. This just kind of worked its way into your career?
yes and no. So I would say when I was maybe 32, I had said to myself, I'm going to be out of corporate by the time I'm 50. And that's just been in the back of my mind for, 15 years. And I was 49, and I didn't really have a plan. And then everything just kind of started falling into place. And I found an organization, Sales Acceleration, to partner up with. And the company I was working for had sold. They'd been acquired by Cushman Wakefield. So I was back into a big corporate environment, which I really didn't want to do again. And it just all kind of lined up. And honest to goodness, on my 50th birthday was my last day working for somebody else.
Wow.
So the universe aligned with my goal a long time ago and got me there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just super. I happened to be in Bali that day
Wow.
to make it even more fun.
Probably drinking champagne, celebrating.
There was a bit
Big
of that.
reason to
Yeah.
celebrate. Absolutely. So, what's your favorite assignment whenever you get into a company and get your hands dirty and kind of see what opportunities there are to help them improve? What's your favorite?
I really like doing sales training, taking young salespeople through the sales process, and there's really a structure and a way to do a sales call and follow an opportunity.
What's that structure look like to you?
It's building rapport, asking good questions, presenting your offer, negotiating or overcoming obstacles, and close. It's 5 steps. It's always 5 steps.
Is there one that salespeople get hung up on the most that you see when you're working with somebody, one of those steps?
They go right to proposal and they don't ask questions first. So they don't take the time to really understand the need that the client has. And they just here's what we got to offer. Slow your roll. Ask some questions, figure out what the real problem is. So then when you present your offer, you know that you're fulfilling the needs of the client.
I find that most of your sales you have to overcome is or objections is 3 of them: no need, no money, no time, right? And so if you don't get the no need out of the way first, if you do that first, you overcome that obstacle, and then you can move over to the time and the money commitment. And so how do you implement that with your people that you consult?
We start with a playbook. So going through and really, stage 1 of the sales cycle, who's involved, what things do you have to do in this stage, how do you get to the next stage? And we just map out every single action item, who's involved and what you need to do, and then map that to the CRM solution, so your Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever. So it all follows the process, and then everybody knows what's expected of them and what they have to do to advance the deal.
Yeah, I think that's great because I think that most people, you're exactly right, and I've been doing sales for 11 years, they jump right into, oh, hey, here's what you need, and they didn't gather any information there, right?
How do you know what I need?
It's the reach method. You got to build rapport, evaluate the situation, and then ask questions, communicate, and have a history. So I love that.
So Metis, is that your strength? Is that playbook, like that sales? I mean, when somebody comes to you, what are they getting that they're not getting somewhere else?
A lot of people do playbooks.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard. What I like to do is after that work's done is really look at not just the sales organization, but the sales within the entire organization. So what is the relationship with legal, right? So what's the contract look like? Does the salesperson really understand the terms and conditions, what they can negotiate, what's up to them, what are they empowered to discuss and change? Working with the CFO and finance, what are our goals? Are we driving for revenue? Are we trying to increase profit? What payment terms? Are we interested in getting money in as fast as possible? Or, so working with the different groups within the entire organization and how that affects sales and sales affects them and get everybody working together, it really makes a huge difference in the success and just the culture, right? Sometimes sales has kind of a bad rap. I was like, oh, those sales guys are out all the time. They never work. But if you can get that relationship going within, accounts receivable and operations and everyone else on board with them, it goes a lot better. And I really like that because people miss that piece a lot.
You said something that's really interesting, the word culture. And you're exactly right. I find that in a lot of businesses, especially in sales, that culture isn't there. Do you see that a lot with most of the people that you are working with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you approach that?
Slowly. You really do have to go slow, right? That's probably one of my biggest challenge coming in as a consultant. You don't want to just go in and say everything's wrong and tell everybody what to do. You need to come in, take a breath, understand, really learn what's happening. And that's why doing the playbook and spend a little time and understanding what the process is and should be, and then start to reach out to the other organizations.
So you're following some of your own playbook there. You're not just jumping right in saying, you do this, you do this. They're like, who are you? You don't even go here, right?
Go find out what the real problems are. Maybe they've got together. Like some organizations are really, really good at that, and some don't even understand when I, start to talk about this. It takes a little bit to kind of sink in, like, why would accounts receivable really need to work with sales? Well, if they did, then sales could hand that relationship off to accounts receivable. And when it comes time to collect invoices, there's a relationship there. They're not just a bill collector. There's a relationship with that client.
So you're obviously in Nashville now, but it's been quite a journey to get here. You've lived in how many states?
7.
7 states.
Mm-hmm.
So walk us through that. How did you get to Nashville?
Well, born and raised in Michigan, way too cold. I made it as far south as Dallas, way too hot. And so when it finally came time to start my own business, and I can do this anywhere, where do I really want to live? And proverbially took the map out and looked and said, 4 seasons. I've got, the nature. I've got trees and places to hike and be outside, water, all that good stuff. Still got a city and culture and things to go do, good places to eat. It was close enough to my friends that they could get to me. It was a place my friends would want to come visit. So here I am.
And you've got, I know, friends in Cincinnati
Cincinnati and St. Louis. And then, ironically, Universe again intervened, and my brother got a job in Knoxville.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's close by, too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing business with folks from Nashville, but you've also mentioned that, you can essentially do business worldwide, right? So tell us what you're doing there.
Yeah, so I've got a client I do sales training for, and it's a global organization. And so I literally am doing sales training, 6, 7 o'clock at night with people from all over the world. So Greece, India, Ireland, San Francisco, we're all on the phone together doing sales training. It's one big team. But what they've really found is extending the sales training beyond the sales team and into the client services team, and helping them make that cultural shift where client services would typically say, I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to be a salesperson. It's not what I do. I don't like salespeople. And then after going through sales training and realizing all sales is solving problems for clients. And that's what client services does every day. And by the end of it, everyone's nodding and super excited and like, I figured it out. I got it. This is cool, right? And doing that for a global team is just really way fun and rewarding, and I just love it.
So I'm interested to learn how you've been in sales for 25 years. How did you get in sales? And obviously you've been successful. How did you keep that sales mindset going this whole time? Because I feel like a lot of salespeople get burned out over a period of time, or they get complacent. Talk to us how you work through that.
I had the luxury of working for IBM. And when you get tired of doing one thing, there's a million other jobs at IBM to go do. So in a 13-year career at IBM, I probably had 9 different jobs. So I did everything from being an account executive to doing solution sales, hardware sales. Then I went and did software sales for a while, and then I was an industry best practice for the retail industry. I specialized in grocery for a while. So I had tons of different jobs, so there was no getting bored. And the wonderful thing about IBM that you don't realize at the time is you go to sales training every year, and it's painful, and you don't want to go, and you just want to go sell and all that. Coming out of that and looking back, it was a wonderful, wonderful education. And, I feel like I got my MBA in sales at IBM.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a lot of training, but now I use that training every day and carrying that on and teaching other people. So
I think that's great because a lot of folks will go through those times of, that annual sales meeting or whatever that looks like. We're like, man, this is dreadful. Like, why am I doing this? I should not be doing this. I should be selling.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're looking back, and in essence, all that training got to you where you are today, and in essence, building a business off of it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I really find and see it a lot when I'm doing training is we'll do some case studies, and it's very, pulling people in and asking questions like, okay, what deal do you have going on right now? What are you stuck on? And we'll workshop things every week. Okay, what happened this week? What worked? What didn't work? Where'd you get stuck? Well, I tried to ask these questions and the client shut me down. Okay, let's workshop it. All of us together. And, what questions did you ask? Where'd you get shut down? What maybe, okay, why didn't you ask this question? Or could you have done it different? And it helps them continue to move the deals forward, even though they're sitting in sales training. And so it doesn't feel like wasted time. It feels like all of a sudden I've got 12 people helping me get my deal done. So we found a formula that works.
That's awesome. So working with companies overseas, you were like on Zoom before Zoom was cool, right?
Yeah.
You were
We were doing WebEx, I don't know, early 2000s. So when all this hit, I was like, what's the big deal?
everybody's freaking
Everybody's
out.
freaking
You're-
out, yeah. Yeah, and you're already doing it. That's awesome.
Been doing it a long time. Yep. But I enjoy it.
So you're helping sales teams grow. Are you have interest in growing your own team, or what are you doing there to kind of widen your impact?
Thank you. I'm actually, as I'm getting more opportunities come my way, my bandwidth is running out. I've only got so many hours in the day. But I am part of Sales Acceleration, which is about 200 other advisors across the country. So as I get opportunities that I am a little short on bandwidth or might not be my specialty, I call on them and they work with me. And so I'm able to scale and grow the business, just bringing in the right partner at the right time.
Probably learning a bunch of great ideas from that group or mastermind kind of sessions that you have
It's
access to
very
there.
much, yeah, it's very much a mastermind. On average, people in Sales Acceleration have been in sales 20 plus years, all different industries. So if I get into an industry I don't know much about, I just reach out to the team and somebody raises their hands. Oh yeah, I used to do that for whomever. And they jump in and help me out or send me some sample documents and, oh, here's a comp plan I used to use at Pepsi. Thanks. Cool. Right. And off I go, or I pull them in and say, will you partner with me on this one? I'm over my head. And, it's really nice to be surrounded by that much good experience.
Yeah, that's great.
And I mean, how great is that to have access to, that talent pool around you? I heard you say if it's not necessarily in your wheelhouse, that's something you're not afraid to say. You don't say that as a weakness to say, hey, this isn't my specialty, not my wheelhouse, but I do have somebody great that could help you with that. So, I mean, that's got to help you add value. Clients got to
for
appreciate
sure.
that.
Yeah, to not just leave someone hanging, like, oh, can't help you, sorry. I just don't do that. I'll go find you an answer. I'll go find you someone. And it was really nice going out on my own. I never felt alone. I've got, 150, almost 200 peers out there that I can call on at any time and ask a question to, or, even will you get on the phone with me? Yeah, well, I'll do a client call with you. Everyone jumps in and helps everybody. So that being a solopreneur, going out on my own, I'm really not. I'm part of this much bigger organization that, tons of really smart people that are there to help me. So they've got deliverables that have been, tried and true, and we've all contributed to making them better, and, playbook samples and comp plans and forecasting tools and all of that I didn't have to create from scratch. I have a bunch of them, but they're very specific for the IT world or for facilities and maintenance, because those were the industries I worked in, retail. So if I get into healthcare, it's okay. I've got peers that have all the healthcare stuff that can come help me. So it's been nice.
That's awesome. So at this point, how do you attract like new clients? Is it like referral based from past clients, or what does that look like?
Referrals from past clients, my network, and building my community here in Nashville is really my priority right now. I've got a network that's global, but I don't have a huge network of physical face-to-face people here in Nashville. So I'm excited to be building that now that we're all out and about, and setting up meetings with what I call referral partners or my peer group. So I'm fractional VP of sales. There's a lot of fractional marketing people out there and fractional CFOs out there. So networking with that group, because when they're in with clients, fractional CFO, they're like, this company doesn't have enough revenue. They need someone to come in and help with sales. Hey, Angela, I got a client that needs your help. And I go in and help. And so we give business back and forth to each other. We partner on, accounts together and it works well for the client because they get really great talent at a fraction of the cost. They only pay for what they need. So as they're growing and trying to build the business, they're not overtaxing, their budget with all of this expense. We get to scale it back for them and make it real doable.
Do you use social media at all, like LinkedIn or anything like that for prospecting?
Yep. LinkedIn is my go-to. I've done a little bit on some of the others, but LinkedIn is kind of where my tribe is and the business community is, and so that's where I stay.
Yeah, Eric, you're really big in LinkedIn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
Big
haven't
fan.
really tapped into that much. Do you do it, LinkedIn?
Not as much as they should.
Yeah, me neither.
Mm. So as you're training salespeople, I guess it depends on what they do, but I mean, is social media in this generation, is this like a big part of it? Or once again, it probably is determined by what they're selling, I suppose, too, right?
Yeah, that fits more into the lead gen and marketing side. So when I do sales training, it's, building rapport and all that. You can build rapport over LinkedIn, but where I kind of pick up is we've got a lead. Now what do we do?
Gotcha.
Right? How do you build that relationship and get it to close? So some of that just really fits in with the marketing side of the house, which I will help out with or pull somebody in who's a fractional, CMO, marketing VP to come in and say, will you help put together a marketing strategy and get leads in? Because I got salespeople who don't have anything to do. And that's a bad day when that happens.
Yeah. So what's like the 5-10 year goal for you with this business? Something you're going to grow and then pick up and sell, or you going to hold tight and stay in this for a long time? Like, what's your goal, do you think?
I will probably do this for a long time. I may scale it back. Right now I'm in the scaling it up phase,
Right,
and, building it and having fun and, seeing what I can do with it. But, I think, 10, 15 years from now, if I'm starting to, want to go play more than work, I just take on less clients or I, get other people to help take care of them. And, but I really like it. So I don't see me ever not doing it at this point.
perfect.
It's just way too much fun.
Beautiful thing when you're not counting down the days to retirement.
Yeah. I just don't have an end date, figured out. We'll just see how it goes and how much fun I'm having. As long as I'm having fun and life's good and we're drinking champagne, I mean, why not, right?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Speaking of fun, what do you do outside of work to have fun, outside of campaign?
Yeah, I actually really like renovating homes. So I do dabble in a little bit of real estate, buying, holding, renovate and rent out homes. And then about a year ago, I bought a home out this way, and I've been renovating it. So.
Awesome. Well, we want to be respectful of your time, but we've got some speed questions for you. Are you ready for some speed questions?
I hope so.
Okay. All right. So first one is, if you weren't doing what you were doing right now, what would you be doing?
Probably more real estate.
So just real estate full time.
Mm-hmm.
Where is your happy place, or where's your favorite place to be?
Out in nature.
Okay, like hiking.
Hiking, kayaking. I get to do that now. But yeah, I've just grown up in Michigan and out in the woods all the time. I've found that that's where I end up gravitating to.
Who is your hero or someone you've looked up to in the past?
I did not come up with a good answer for this.
It's all right.
Anyone
It's
you
all
look
right.
up to now in the business
Eric,
world or anything?
Yeah.
Eric.
Eric?
Yeah.
There it is.
He's kind of
I've
my
got some other
superhero.
people you
Blushing.
could probably look up that. No, I'm kidding.
No.
So, most impactful book, podcast, etc.
The 4 Agreements.
The 4 Agreements.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a book? Or
It's
is
a
that-
book. Yeah.
Do you know who the author is? The 4
Uh,
Agreements.
Don Miguel Ruiz.
4
It's
Agreements.
it's Toltec wisdom. So it's a real one. I'll bring you a copy. You guys will
Word
like
that.
it.
That's
Great.
great. What is your? If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Optimism.
Optimism.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome answer.
That's a great answer.
That's different. That's awesome answer though.
Yeah, that is. That's a great answer.
And it sounds like a superhero.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
That sounds
No,
like a superhero.
If you're in sales, you got to be optimistic.
Oh
or
yeah,
you're not going to make it through
you're
the
not
day.
going to make
You won't be
it.
there for
no.
20 something years if that's the
No.
case, right?
That's what I tell everybody that's coming into sales. You got to keep your roller coaster. You don't want your highs to go too high and your lows to be too low because that'll put you in a funk. So for
Mhm.
sure, it's
Yep.
a good answer.
Yep.
This has been great. Thanks for coming out. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
it.
so much.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Really a
Great to
good
catch
time.
up.
I appreciate it.
It's been awesome to learn about your business, and cheers to future successes.
Thank you guys very much.
Cheers.
Cheers to
Thank
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out and listening to the podcast today. What you sipping on? Please be sure to like and follow, and we will see you next time.